What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I'm finishing up a little bit of my little protein bar here before we get rocking and rolling because why not? This particular one gets stuck in my teeth quite often. It's called an RX bar, but I love it. I just can't get enough of it. All right, my friends. Another week of love, another week of inspiration, another week of learning and an opportunity to be able to grow from each other, and particularly and especially from people who are just getting started inside of our program here, learning the skills and strategies that we teach inside of our 15-day challenge and our business blueprints. And please remember that every single one of the people that comes on here is 9.5 out of 10 times completely brand new. This is often the very first time that I've ever talked to them. And so your love, your comments, your validation, your appreciation, your positivity, your questions, they're all welcome and appreciated. And we'll try to keep up with the comments as much as we can. But I'm going to do everything that I can to stay focused on our guest, which is a full-time operations manager who is finding her voice online. Her name is Catherine. Please help me welcome her to Wake Up Legendary. Catherine, how are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm wonderful. Where are you calling in from?
I am Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour north of Philly.
Nice. So, full-time operations manager. So you're a COO or an operations person. Tell us, tell us what led you to this crazy world. What led you to our community? What were you looking for? Anything in particular? And do you feel like you found what you were looking for?
So, yeah, I do feel like I found what I was looking for. I had 35 years in the restaurant industry and was looking for kind of a way out. Hadn't done a great job at saving for retirement, but I couldn't afford to give up working. Kind of kept hovering around affiliate marketing. You see it and then it's in your subconscious, and then you dig into the videos and you check and see what it's all about. And it just kept coming around. And then I had a really rough year in 2022. And I decided that I needed a change and I needed to add some income, and just kept coming back to this and this. And I researched all the programs, and Legendary just seemed like the top one to come into.
Woohoo! Well, we're glad that we passed your sniff test. Um, and we're it's certainly not lonely at the top. We've got a wonderful community here of people who are pretty excited to welcome anybody who's excited to be here and is looking to help themselves. We're certainly excited to help them, and so is everybody in this community. And so going from employee to entrepreneur, that old saying, we're willing to help you if you're willing to help yourself, sort of makes me think a lot about how difficult that transition can be for a lot of people, and how they can kind of come into entrepreneurship with a little bit of an attitude of entitlement, sort of like there's there's maybe a boss or somebody that's going to tell them the exact outcome they're supposed to get or exactly what actions to take every step of the way. And that's not always how entrepreneurship is. What's it been like for you to make this transition to, having to, have essentially the buck stop with you? And if you don't show up and work, at least here at the beginning, to get your systems up and running, to get your traffic up and flowing, to get your streams of income up and growing, well, nobody else is going to do it for you. You don't have a boss that's going to be standing over your shoulder, sort of, telling you that you have to come in, or you've showed up 5 minutes late today. What's that transition in this journey been like for you so far in terms of that leap from employee to entrepreneur?
It was a bit difficult in the beginning. I started with Legendary in February, and then I didn't launch live until June. Um, you know, the person that lies to you the most is always yourself. And I had to get straight with what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to do it. So I kind of rebuilt where I was
That's a
during
hat
that.
throw. Fresh first thing in the morning. Hello. Let's bend a rim here up here. Hey, sorry about your Phillies, by the way. I know
Oh,
it's
thank
up
you.
there in Pennsylvania. You guys are really, you guys are some super fans. But anyways, you had to not lie to yourself. Please continue.
So I started writing out my goals and started deciding what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And I knew I needed new financial goals, and legendary was number 2 on my list of my financial goals of how I was going to change things. Um, I lost 45 pounds. I quit drinking. I just started honing in on what I wanted and how I wanted my 2023 to be. So it took me a little bit of getting started. I gave myself my first deadline if I would post by Memorial Day, and I missed that. I didn't post till June 5th, and it didn't go real well. I was the typical beginner that didn't know what to talk about. My posts were awkward. Um, I hadn't picked a great target audience. I kind of did everything that they were like, don't do this. And I was like, well, okay. I revamped and kind of relaunched the end of July, and
Mm.
it's been going a lot better since then. I went through blueprints and looked at them again. Where am I messing up? Um, Literally rewrote everything out so that I had a true plan to follow, and just started hitting it.
Mm. My friends, wow. Reminds me of the old Phil Koberger here, who just recently at our event reminded us that his wife reminded him, did he actually read the instructions of the product that he bought? Meaning, did you actually go through the education in the curriculum of the course that you bought? And so often it's like reading a book, right? We can always learn something by going back over it, but some people don't even go through it in the first place. We sort of buy something and say, well, I bought it. Shouldn't the results come now? Or we get too ahead of ourselves. We put the cart before the horse, and we buy something and we start looking around at other people. We start feeling behind. We start panicking, and then we just start throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I love how you didn't quit, but you restarted, and that's okay. Sometimes we start over. What else did you do different besides go through the actual blueprint the second time around that you didn't do the first time, that you could articulate for us so we could learn from your experience?
One of the biggest things that I did was I started to get really mad at myself. I started to take it out on myself, like, you've done so many other things. Why isn't this working? What's the problem? And then I started to get mad at Legendary, and I realized they weren't responsible in any way. Um, so I had a mind shift, and I got in the car one day and I popped on my favorite podcast, and it was all about gratitude. And I was like, oh God, somebody thinks I need to hear this. Okay.
Mhm.
And in that podcast, it said, you can't have more until you're grateful for what you have.
Mm.
And I thought, boy, ugh,
Mm.
I am not grateful for what I have. And that's when it all shifted. I know, I
Mm.
still get emotional about it. I wasn't appreciating that I had a house, I had a job, I had a car, have an amazing family. Um, my mom is like cheerleader. She's been in some of my videos. She's hilarious. Um, and I started to be grateful for, okay, I got 2 followers today. Um, and then it started to come. And then like I got 800 on Facebook. And then last weekend I got 300 on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, it's going, it's going, it's starting. I had to look at the small wins instead of saying, I'm not doing this right. I'm not getting 1,000 followers. I'm not making $40,000 this month. I had to look at what I was doing and be okay with that. Because I have a lot, just like everybody else, I have a lot going on in my life, but I won't quit. I post 3 times a day. I study when I need to study, and I'm figuring it out. And in my time with what I need to do, I will get there.
We should end the show right there. We really should. I mean, that is enough on a Monday to really, wow. Not often that I'm speechless, really. I mean, I usually have something to say about everything. But Catherine, that really is a sort of defining moment. That's the aha moment of all aha moments. And there was a couple of different pieces of awareness there that you had that stuck out to me. First and foremost was just recognizing that when you're hearing something, first of all, you were open, but when you heard it on the podcast, you said you opened your heart and your mind to it and said, maybe this is for me. Somebody, something. Is it odd or is it God? Who am I to try to decide? I'm just going to be open right now to this message. And my hope is that simultaneously, the 540 people that are listening right now, plus the thousands more that'll listen to the replay or maybe hop on and off, who knows, will also hear what you just said and also be open to this message. But then the second part, which is who is going to give me more? Again, God, the universe, society, others, or all of the above. If I'm not grateful for what I already have. And one of the things that I learned early on, and I wasn't sure if I believed it at first, but I do now, and it's money will only make you more of who you already are. So if I'm great, or if I'm ungrateful, if I'm angry, if I'm bitter, if I'm a victim, money is only going to exacerbate that part of my personality, if that's the dominant part of my personality, if that's who I am, that's who I'm being. Whereas if I'm grateful and giving, if I'm selfless, if I'm a victor over a victim, the universe, God, other people have a way of saying, that person deserves more. That person can handle more. Because if I'm ungrateful, if I'm unable to handle what I have because it's overwhelming and I'm bitter and I'm angry, the universe, God, people have a tendency to say that person's cup is full. They can't handle anymore. They can't handle any more money. They can't handle any more freedom. They can't handle any more responsibility. And I've also realized that with freedom comes responsibility. I don't just get free and have all this free time and all this money and all the success with no responsibility. If I have more freedom, if I have more that I'm doing, I'm receiving, people that I'm leading, that comes with more responsibility. And that sounds like the epiphany that you had. What a beautiful epiphany. And so ever since then, how have you moved? How have you operated? Talk to us about how you're growing from there. Is it one foot in front of the other? Is it small steps? Has there been big, massive wins? Talk to us about from June or July or whenever you had that change of heart or that epiphany. What has life and business been like since then?
It's been a combination of big wins and small steps, but I just take every step every single day. I had a video go, I call it baby viral on Facebook that got me over 2,000 followers. And then everything kind of stopped. I have a ton more followers now, and I have learned to use my email list, so I'm engaging a lot more with that. I did have somebody else buy the blueprints. That was a huge, like, oh, wow, this works. You see that big sale go through and you're like, okay, that is re-energizing. And the amount of people, I'm very shy. I am very introverted. I am one of those people that literally you could take me to the dentist over taking me to a holiday party. I and the amount of people that reach out to me and I enjoy talking to now, maybe it's because 'cause I'm safely in my little bubble, um, and I do feel like I'm learning so much that I have things to share. My DMs go off all the time and just people with questions. I've had people that have reached out to me that from 30 years ago, "Hey, what's this all about? Hey, can you tell me more? Can we set up a conference call?" Like, people I haven't thought about forever are coming out of the woodwork, and I've probably only had a couple of really negative comments, something I never would have done before either. I went head to head with a troll on one of my videos. Like, he put some nasty stuff, and I was like, "No, no, 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 my friend." Yeah, I was like, "I got this one." There are
Mm,
some comments I've deleted, but this one I was like, "Oh, no, buddy. I got all the answers for you."
mm,
So it's built my confidence, and they say, to build your confidence, you're not always born with it, you have to grow your own self-confidence. So every little thing that I do isn't a win, but it helps me learn. Like 2 years ago, I never would have done this. I would have been like, "We good. I'm done. I'll just pack up and go."
mm.
And I was like, "You know what? If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, so here we go. I gotta do
Well,
it."
you talking about going live like this and being
Oh,
interviewed?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So is this your first time being live?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, other than a Zoom call with work, yeah.
So you wow. So now wow. That is really something. Congratulations. I mean, it are you are you what else besides what seems to be obvious to me, which is you learning to trust yourself more and that you got this and you can handle anything that comes your way. Verify that you've learned that about yourself, and tell us what else you've learned about yourself over the course within these last few months.
Um, that I just turned 55 last week, and I have learned I can still learn. I feel like going up to that point, I was just totally in a comfort zone, and I wasn't willing to grow. I feel like my brain is on fire again. Like, it's not just, at 35 years in one industry, you're a functional expert, you don't have to think that much. I love the fact I'm reading more now, I'm studying more now, I'm doing the self-improvement. Um, Adding this to my plate has actually given me more time because I'm scheduled. Like, I help out my mom, she's turning 81, my niece is getting married next weekend, but I build into my schedule my time to do my videos. I've become so much more organized. Um, it's just like I've gotten it down, and it didn't take me that long to do. I know people are like, "I'm so busy, I have kids, I have that." Well, I'm single, I got a mom, I got a niece, I have a full-time job, I
Mm,
volunteer at my church, like, I can find the time, you can find the time. And now I
mm,
feel like I have more and more time to get it done. Plus, the confidence has built and my knowledge is stronger, like, I can make my videos faster. But
mm,
I didn't know TikTok. I hadn't been on Facebook since 2013.
mm,
I hadn't been on Instagram probably the same amount of time. I taught myself CapCut. I taught myself as much as I needed to, and it got really exciting for me that I was just learning and growing. And at 55, like, old dog, new tricks, I got this.
mm, Love to hear it. I think even in 30s, 40s, I've even seen some folks in their 20s have too much pride to be new. And that's a question that I ask quite a bit on the show is what is it like for you to be new? I was reading something from somebody the other day that was about him being new at things and this sort of passion, this love for being new, this love for being having those butterflies in your stomach when you're brand new, when you're traveling. In this case, he was bodybuilding. He's done all these different things over his life as sort of extracurricular, either side hustles, hobbies, businesses. But now it's bodybuilding, and total amateur, first competition he was ever in, and he was sitting in his hotel room, nervous, traveling to his first show, and had just got spray tanned up, in his, either late 40s or 50. And here he was taking on bodybuilding again, sitting in his hotel room, freshly spray tanned, feeling all the nerves, all the butterflies of being new and about to go out onto stage and be judged and be the new guy in his first competition. And I get to see this every day inside of our community. For example, so everybody doing their first video online, not everybody, but damn near everybody, damn near every person that comes on this show, or a lot of them, first time being live, just like you, right? People who come and speak at our mastermind events. People wonder why we have our own clients come and speak at our mastermind events who have had success stories. Because it's a great opportunity to give them a chance to grow in a new way. It's just that we pay them. We actually, and now they're getting paid as speakers. We also pay all of the people who come on and do our hot seat coaching calls inside of our blueprints. People are not doing that for free. We're paying them. They probably would do it for free, but we're paying them. They're becoming paid speakers, first on the internet, and then if they'd like to, in real life. The sweetest, one of the most inspirational situations at our most recent mastermind this last weekend was Camilla Markson. A lot of people know her. Somebody who's inspired as many people in this community as anybody else. I'm talking about inspired great marketers. And, she had never spoke from stage, and, she had nerves, and, she overcame them right in front of everybody's eyes, right literally in front of my eyes, as well as Chelsea Weemet was all the nerves, right? A lot of times we don't see this. We just think that everybody is just, maybe she was born with it, right? Like it's a Maybelline commercial. And you know what? I even have nerves. Every single time I'm coming up to an event, not so much on the internet with coaching calls, because you're right. We are in a safe bubble here at home. People don't realize really how comfortable you can get in your home filming videos. But leading up to an event when we're going to go meet people and be around people and do the IRL thing in real life, I don't know a single person that doesn't get nerves. I really don't, me included. But it's every single time that we do it, and and you know what? For me, every event I do, I leave that event going, that was the best event we've ever done. Every single time, because I get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit faster at the event. And I've been speaking on stage since 2011. That was my first big event, had 1,200 people there. Seriously. I used to do much bigger events than we do here in Legendary. And every single time I had butterflies, every single time I had nerves. And I just think that when we share that with each other, we give ourselves permission to just feel the feelings and be new, and know that those nerves are your body telling you you're alive, you're awake, you're alert, and you're ready for this. Not that you suck, you're not capable, and you're about to have a breakdown. I mean, if you want to attach that meaning, you can. And are you realizing that you can attach, speaking of attaching meaning, and I've already heard you kind of say it a couple of times, but you have the choice to attach whatever meaning you want to anything that happens in your life or business. And knowing that now, are you a glass half full kind of gal now? Has your attitude about everything, not just business, changed?
Yeah, my mom used to call me Eeyore growing up because I was
Oh,
always the one that said, "It'll never work." Like,
not
decades
you.
of me, "It'll never work." And now I constantly tell my mom, she actually got me a little T-shirt. I'm always like, "It'll be fine. It'll be fine." And
Mm,
she's like, "Where did this come from? Who are you?" Like, I was always a believer in if you're nervous, do it anyway. You have to. You have to live your life.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have gratitude in the smaller things. I have gratitude in things I never looked at before. And you have to. You've got to just seize the moment and go do it. And I never thought I would be that type of a person. But
Mm.
we're Catholic. I prayed on it. I knew I was stuck. I asked God for grace and I asked him to take me to another level. So this is what he thinks I'm ready for. And
Mm.
as I continue to do this journey, he'll decide what I'm ready for and I'll be along for the ride. And all I can tell him is, let's go.
God will never give you more than what you can handle. That's one thing that I've learned over my years of life. And I can always do more than I think I can do. And think about some of the people who are going through just horrific situations right now in the world. Third world countries, war, not having clean drinking water. How long do they have to walk in order to bring back a bucket of water that's dirty that then needs to be boiled and cleaned and et cetera, et cetera? People out hunting for their food, people living on the streets, children who are homeless, children who are going to school hungry in our own country here. All kinds of difficult situations, people born into abusive, drug, toxic homes, um, people who know nothing but violence, people who were born into war, people who were born into pandemics, people who recently went through pandemics, people who have been in abusive relationships, people who have witnessed or experienced traumatic things. Yeah, now we start to realize it's all of us. It's all of us
Yeah.
who have endured difficult things. And do you look back on your life and realize that A, God didn't bring you this far to drop you on your head and this is it, but also that you've been through and survived enough difficult things? This, what you're doing now, is not harder than what you've already survived. True?
Oh, so true. So true. When I look back, I'm like, well, I did all those things to get here. So it's been okay. I'm still kicking. I'm doing pretty well. Um, I can do this. I can do whatever I set my mind to. And I'm amazed how well it's worked out. Like, I am shocked.
Yeah.
And there is so much support within Legendary. Like, if I have a stumbling block, if I can't figure something out, there's the Facebook post, there's groups everywhere. I've made friends across the country with fellow marketers, some that I've started DMs with, some that have started with me, and you figure it out.
Mm,
And God's not going to let me fail. I mean, why would he give me the idea to do this if he thought I was going to fail at it?
mm.
So I use the support that's there. I use the support of my family, and we'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Julie says, Dave, I need to be a supporter and no longer a survivor. Wow, what a statement. Lots of great comments coming in. Love all the different perspectives and opinions, and thank you all so much for the wonderful validation and feedback and just kind words, hearts, all the things. Um yeah, we there is an opportunity in this process to go from surviving to thriving. Catherine, would you describe your situation as that?
I would. I feel like when I started this, I was trying to find a way to survive. I was trying to find a way to bring income in to take care of my mom, have that time. I
Mm,
was anxious, nervous, panicked, didn't sleep at night. And this has it's put me on a journey, but it's given me that little ray of hope that I needed, that little light at the end of the tunnel that if I keep going toward it, um, it's going to put me where I need to be. where before I had nothing and I was literally panic stricken some days driving to work and just like, this isn't going to be enough. My job isn't going to be enough.
Hmm.
And everything just kind of calmed down when I knew I got this. I can rely on myself. I have support if I need it, and I'm going to figure it out. So
Hmm.
that's what Legendary has given me. It's given me, just goals and new hopes and new dreams instead of being hopeless.
Our goal here is really to create independent entrepreneurs, not dependent people on a guru or anything like that. And that's one of the differences that we wanted to make when we started to clarify the vision for this community and this company. Is there's too many, way too many people on the internet who are charismatic and who can create communities and followers and things of this nature, and they want people to be dependent on them. They want, they've always got a new program to sell, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with selling something on the internet. Of course, that's what we teach. But it's one of the reasons why we sort of try to package everything in our blueprints and make it if you want the appetizer, which is the challenge, great. Chew on it for a couple of days. Decide if you want to take it serious. Decide if you want more accountability, more coaching, if you want more in-depth training. And if you do, there's a one-stop shop offer that we make you throughout the challenge called the Business Blueprints. And we'll give you all 4 of the blueprints for the price of one if you want to take us up on that limited time offer. Otherwise, of course, you can a la carte the blueprints however you want at a later time. But for example, we're coming out with an upgrade to the digital products blueprint, which is going to be happening this month. And that's going to be free to everybody who owns that blueprint, opposed to selling it again or having some new latest, greatest strategy or trend, or, we're going to be teaching a different business model because we really want people to become independent entrepreneurs and start to see their own vision and want to be a part of our community, not just have to be a part of our community. And so, how have you been surprised by the way in which you have been able to build an audience? How you have been able to begin to build your own little community, even if it's only hundreds and not thousands, or even if it's dozens and not hundreds. Have you been surprised? In obviously that's built confidence as you've realized that you actually have value to deliver, right? Talk to us a little bit about how your content and community building strategies changed when you had that epiphany of, being grateful for what you have and your content started to evolve. How have you, how have you reacted to people's reactions to you, and how have you used that as sort of momentum to now continue to build content and build your own community now and your own audience, right? Audience, community, kind of same thing. But are you seeing now that the real secret to this is community building and audience building, and having not just somebody see your stuff one time, and if they buy, great. If they don't, then it's gone forever. But you actually build followers and people who kind of may even watch you for a couple of days, weeks, or even months before they buy. They want to be a part of your community. They want to feel what it's like, see if you're going to be consistent and be there. Talk to us what you've learned about the audience slash community building aspect of online marketing.
It dawned on me when one lady DM'd me and said, I really need to talk to you. And I was like, okay, like, and what do I have to offer? And so we DM'd, and then we eventually ended up talking on the phone. And she said, I'm going through so much of what you're going through. I have an elderly mom that I'm taking care of. I'm a single mom. I'm not in a good place financially. And she just wanted to call and talk. And I was like, wow, that's one person that I have affected. And she ended up buying into Legendary. I think she's going through it now. But I get so many comments from people and DMs from people, hey, this is where I'm at. How did you get through this step? And it shocks me that I don't know. I try and put really great content out that solves a problem for people, but I also think it's your personal story that people are like, "Wow, I need a little bit of help. I can come to you." That has shocked me. I love it. I like to be there for people. Um, but there's still that little bit of thing of why me? Like, why are they talking to me? But I've learned that my story isn't as unique as I think it is, which is not a bad thing. Um, I think people are just kind of lonely and in their own struggles. And when they find someone else they can connect to, I think that's hugely empowering for both of you.
Mm, yeah. Well, that hits different. The we're not all as unique as we think we are in a bad way, right? A lot of us think that we're in this. This is a saying in recovery. I think you had mentioned something about not drinking. I don't know if that means that you're in recovery. It doesn't matter, but either way, sobriety has been a superpower for me over the last 13 years in this business, being in recovery for now 15 years. And one of the sayings that I heard in my very first treatment center was terminally unique, right? Which means that I think that things don't apply to me so much it's going to kill me. I think that I don't need to listen. I don't think that I always look for the differences in people instead of the similarities, right? What's
Mhm.
different about us instead of what's the same. And and you're very right. Outside, on the outside of our bodies, we all look different. Nobody looks the same as you. And that is really another superpower that each one of us has that we don't embrace fully. However, on the inside, we are all the same, my dear friends. We are all the same, not only in terms of our organs and anatomy, but more powerfully in terms of the feelings that we feel.
Mhm.
All of us. Your sadness may be from a different situation, but the feeling is the same. Your anxiety may be from a different situation or a something that may just be a you know a mental illness, I guess, if you would want to consider anxiety or depression or something like that. But guess what? It doesn't matter where it's from. If it was nature or nurture, it feels the same. And as we're standing there with our anxiety or sitting in our chair with our depression, we often think, I'm the only one in the world who's feeling like this. I'm alone. And I feel hopeless now because I feel alone and because I feel like I'm the only one. And the truth is that, dadgummit, we're all freaking anxious. We're all having some dadgum depression. We're all feeling a little sad. I mean, surely we feel happy, but the beautiful part about the human experience is that you really truly have a full spectrum of feelings. And on one single day, you can feel extremely happy and you can feel extremely sad. And I think we feel shame for those feelings. We feel shame for feeling anxiety, sadness, depression, anger. It's one of the reasons why when my children get angry, I don't say, "Oh, don't be angry." I say, "Whoo, dog, you are mad." Because it's like, who gives a shit? He's mad. You know, my kids are never bad. They're just having an emotion. They're just feeling something. And a lot of times we were labeled as good or bad growing up based on what feeling we were feeling, right? It's like we were having a big feeling, a big old angry feeling about something. My son has big old angry feelings when I won't let him have a popsicle. He'll go, "Oh my God, oh," right all over the floor. Just, I say, "Son, that is not how to get what you want, but you look mad, you know?" And then he has the feeling and he gets back up and says, "Can I please have a popsicle?" And I always give him one. Always give them one. Doesn't matter what time it is.
We don't teach ourselves to self-soothe. We
Mm.
teach ourselves to use caffeine or cigarettes or drinking or something to numb our feelings, when if you just sat down and took a moment and processed through it, you'd realize it's going to be temporary and you can come out on the other side of it.
Very true. There was a lady on the show a couple of weeks ago who said, I'm going to go ahead and take action and figure out how to cope after later, right? Because the truth is, we always cope, right? We do, and just like you just said, sometimes it's nicotine, sometimes it's drugs and alcohol, sometimes it's exercise. There's healthy coping mechanisms as well, which is what we really need to learn in this process. Entrepreneurship and doing what we're doing here is really reparenting ourselves, is what most of the time we need. We need to reparent ourselves and just accept the fact that our parents weren't perfect. You probably already know that. But for some reason, we have a resistance to wanting to reparent ourselves or embrace that. Sometimes it's just, we just, again, feel shame for being overwhelmed, shame for being sad, shame for being mad, whatever. It's just shame for feeling feelings. When really, when we shoot a video, when we get ready to shoot our first video and we're very scared, really, what would have I needed from maybe an adult or a parent if I was young and doing that? Well, I would have needed, you're really scared right now. I can see that. But I know you can do hard things and you got this. And I believe in you and I trust you and you can trust yourself, right? That sort of positive self-talk or talk from somebody else is what we needed, and then we would have learned to talk to ourselves like that. But instead, a lot of times we got negative talk. We got don't do that, shh, be quiet, don't make a scene, and those sort of things. And it's like, we and then we grow up and we feel a lot of shame and apprehension from doing new and hard things. And when we reparent ourselves, we have what's called a corrective experience. We have a corrective experience, which a lot of us can have with our kids and grandkids as we learn more about, healthy coping mechanisms and stuff. But this exact entrepreneurship journey is an opportunity to really reparent ourselves and give ourselves the encouragement that we did not get growing up. Do you agree with that? Does that resonate with you and what comes up as I say that?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do any of this. Kind of talked it through with my mom, and I thought this has to land on me. I need to be my own encouragement. I need to find out what I'm capable of. And like I said before, the person that lies to you the most is you. And the person who is harshest on you is you. The way that we talk to ourselves so often, if your best friend talked to you that way, it wouldn't be your best friend.
Mm.
So you have to get your inner head right, get your mindset right. Legendary talks about mindset all the time. You have to get all of that together. I would say I started the journey before I launched, but I definitely have continued it as I've gone through this journey. And there are days that I have to check myself. My old attitude will keep coming in, and I have to say, whoa, that's not what we're doing anymore. You've seen the progress, you've seen what you can do, just keep doing it. Put your
Mm.
head down and keep doing it. And it is kind of like talking to your inner child. It really is like you're talking to a little kid. You know you're in there and you know you need encouragement. So what do you need to tell yourself?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have a little picture of me as a kid on my bathroom mirror, and I'm like, you're going to get this little girl through today,
Hmm.
and, talk to her when you come home and see how you did. Because if you went in and screamed at your son, if you
Mm.
went in and were like, stop it, just laid into your son, you would feel terrible. He would feel terrible, and nothing was learned.
Mhm.
It just became anger. So watch how you deal with yourself as well as others.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed this comment from Connie that says, I'm constantly apologizing in my head, number one, to my mom for being who I was growing up, although as a pretty good kid, and number two, to my kids. And here's the thing is we aren't responsible for who we were when we were children. The adults were the adults, they were responsible. And I used to do that as well, Connie. And I would, because I was told I was a bad kid. We're told we're bad kids, and that's really, I think, previous generations just really didn't have the tools to be able to, help us to, deal with our feelings as children. It's still hard even now with the tools and information that we have now. I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent. I'm also giving the previous generations a little bit of a break, and because nobody is at fault here.
Mhm.
It's about shame removal from ourselves, and it's about realizing that when we were children, it's kind of like what I learned in recovery. And somebody told me this. They said, Dave, you're not responsible for your addiction. You're responsible for your recovery. You're not responsible for what happened up until this point, but now that you have the information, you are responsible for the actions and decisions that you make moving forward. And that was a big aha moment for me. It helped me to release a lot of shame because, well, I didn't know. I mean, I started doing drugs and screwing around and smoking my dad's cigarettes and drinking my dad's beer and all this and that when I was 13, 14 years old. Well, he started doing it even younger than that, growing up very poor in a violent alcoholic home in Alabama. And so, we're all just, this is how generational trauma and poverty is passed on. And it takes us to stop and say, look, I'm going to break this generational curse of passing on this shame, of passing on this poverty, of passing on this guilt and this shame of feeling like it's all my fault, and then making my kids feel like it's all their fault by just owning my shit and just saying, look, okay, um, whatever I did when I was a kid, I got a total pass on, total freaking pass. And by the way, kid doesn't mean 18. It means to about 24, 25, because your brain is not developed at 18, friends. It's developed around 24 or 25 years old. And that is when I believe that, true adults, true people become true adults. But then, I'm going to make some dumb decisions. I'm going from being a kid to a damn, basically a young adult. I'm going to make some dumb decisions in my 20s. And I probably didn't have a whole lot of mentorship or leadership in my life. And so if I'm running into that now, even in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, what a blessing. The meaning that I can attach to that is not I'm late, I suck, I'm bad, I didn't do it. The meaning that you can attach to that is, wow, it's never too late. Wow, look at me learning again. Look at me being humble enough to be new. And you know what? If you do have people in your family, like kids, like just anybody else who you want to impact, the biggest impact, the biggest legacy that you will make is not the money that you're going to leave them. It's showing them how to learn. It is education. It is information. It is showing them that you were humble enough to admit your mistakes, and that you are able to change, and you will try to change to grow to be a better person, even until the day that you die. That will be a more meaningful legacy, a more powerful, impactful legacy that you can leave your children or your family than any dollar ever will be, because dollars will oftentimes, if they aren't the person doesn't have the right information, they will end up being a detriment to that person's life. Whereas education, skill sets, humility, and the ability to be able to learn new things will give that person the skill sets to be able to earn money, and to support, protect, and provide for themselves. You talked about family as well, your mother, and just your beautiful family that you have. Are you starting to get a little bit less worried about them and what they think, and have you started to share? Because oftentimes our family are the ones who we are most nervous about sharing this with, because their words mean the most to us. They're the most emotionally impactful. But eventually we start to build our own self-esteem where it doesn't matter. Their words don't have the impact they once did. Are you feeling that happening for you as well as your self-esteem and confidence grows?
Absolutely. First of all, you are under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. You can do what you want as long as it's, to me, if it's positive change, go for it. I have told two of my nieces, my sister-in-law knows, and I know some other family members have found me online. Um, a lot of them have come to me and said, "You're different. Like, you're a different person." And I'll kind of tell them, "Well, this is what I'm doing and this is why." And they're like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? I would support you. I would follow you. I'll talk about it." And I'm like, "Well, I had to go there when I was ready, not necessarily when you were ready." Um, it's weird because I trusted the general public before I trusted my family. That makes
Right.
no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. Um, I can't say anyone's been too negative. They've been curious. "What do you do? Why?" Um, "Okay, explain it." And then they start telling their friends, and their friends kinda come around. My niece is like, "I have some friends who really need to talk to you about what you're doing." I'm like, "Okay." It can be a great lead generator. Um, yeah,
Beautiful.
it's brought my family closer, I will say. Like, my mom's in some of the videos. I haven't put her in one for a while. She's like, "I'm not exactly sure what we're doing, but I'll do it." I dressed her up I dressed her up as a gladiator one day and had her in costume on camera.
Oh, I love it. My
She's
dad
80
too. I
years
mean,
old.
yeah, I mean, my dad still doesn't know what I'm doing, like really. I mean, he's in my videos. I've given, he's the beneficiary of some of my success. I try to be as, and they don't really care. I'll tell you, the most convincing thing is when you start to get results and they don't care what you're doing. I mean, as long as you're not hurting people or, selling drugs or doing, but I tell you what, those of you who are having issues with your spouse supporting you, get a few checks rolling in, get a few deposits in your bank account. You will be amazed. They will be like, "Quiet in the house, mommy's filming," or whatever. I mean, it's unbelievable. The you can go from being whoever you are or you think you are to the hero of your family, giving, serving, helping people out. I have been able to help out more people in my family. But more money, more problems. You're also going to have to learn how to say no and set boundaries, and we talk about that quite a bit on the show as well. But the most important person to learn how to set boundaries with and say no is you know to people who want to waste your time. That's what's most important at the beginning, is really learning how to set boundaries with the old time vampires and the energy vampires, and the people who no longer serve our bigger, greater purpose in what we're. And it's okay to lose friends, or to not really lose, but grow apart from people. You mentioned that you're meeting new friends online. Aren't you amazed by, just within a couple of months, all of the new connections and friends that you have from doing this, and how maybe some of your old friendships are not as attractive as they once were?
Yeah, they're people that I call the most now are the people that are newest to me, the people that I've met through affiliate marketing.
Mm.
And some of the friends who have figured out what I'm doing, they're like, "I don't get it, Catherine." And they're just kind of going over there.
Yeah.
And maybe when they see my success, they'll come back around, but we all move on. You needed them for a reason for a while, and you may not need them anymore, and that's okay.
Mm. Yeah, or you may not need each other. I mean, sometimes it's for a reason, a season, or for a lifetime. But every relationship, I mean, I think it's about being grateful for the relationships that we have. And even if I outgrow somebody, or I grow in a different direction from someone, because I really view friendships like cars on a road. And sometimes you might be driving down the interstate for 50 miles together. Kind of, you ever drove with somebody and you kind of like stick together and you're like, okay, I
Yep.
see him up there, and you're kind of like, looking out for each other, tailing each other. They stop off at a rest stop or a Cracker Barrel. You stop off at a rest stop but then if there's sometimes where you pull or they pull off at a stop and say, I'm tired. And you say, hey, I got to keep going. Or sometimes when you come to a fork in the road and you go right and they go left. And that's okay. Sometimes your paths cross again. Sometimes they don't. And I'm still can be grateful for that time that we drove down that interstate together and we maybe kept each other safe, or we looked out for each other, or we made each other laugh. I mean, everybody doesn't have to be in your life your entire life. And it is okay and new to be driving and find new people on the road. Be like, oh shit, I like your car. Looks like you're going in the same direction as I am. What's your name? And now all of a sudden we're meeting new people, and that is another form of growing, in my opinion, is meeting new people and actually making new relationships. I see people, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is not about shame, but it's like they never expand their social circle at all. And it's like they never branch out. They never meet new people. And while that might be comfortable and that's cool, you attach whatever meaning you want to it. It is really a fun, exciting, and unique experience as an adult, especially as an older adult in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm not there yet. I'm moving into my 40s now, to meet new people and realize, oh, wow, I'm vibing with some different people. I never thought that I would be friends with this guy. I mean, I've got 12 guys who are coming into my house right now. I've got, you can see I've got my office here / dance studio with mattresses, all piled up here and around the room because I've got 12 men coming in. These guys, I'm the youngest one in the group. These guys are 40 to 70, all walks of life, different entrepreneurs, all in recovery. It's a recovery related group, but I would have never thought that I'd be friends with some of these guys. But it's a wonderful thing to form new friendships on different interests that you might have. And it really breathes fresh, new blood breathes fresh air into your life. And it's one way to feel like you're growing and feel like you're doing something different. And this is again, entrepreneurship, the perfect opportunity to be able to blend new friendships, new situations that make you grow, money, the whole nine. Listen, Catherine, this has been refreshing, powerful, beautiful. I'm fired up. A lot of amazing comments. Thank you, everybody, for the great feedback and validation and the wonderful appreciation. Catherine, keep up the great work. Stay legendary. Come back and see me in the future. Keep us posted. This was great. You did wonderful. You're a rock star. You're a breath of fresh air to talk to, and I hope you hear that and read some of these amazing comments for you as well. Keep up the great work. Tell Mom we said hello, okay?
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You deserve it. All right, we'll talk to you later, my friend, okay?
All right, thanks again.
See ya. All right, my friends, you can go and follow Catherine on TikTok and Instagram at Get Results with Catherine, and that's Catherine with a K. CATHERINE. Get Results with Catherine, both on TikTok and Instagram, my friends. Again, thank you for all the beautiful comments and feedback. We love it. We appreciate it. It means the world to me, and also to the guest of the show who come on. And in this case, Catherine's very first live. And boy, what a confidence booster that is to come on, drop so much value, and then have so much positive feedback. And we promise to do the same for you in the future if you are on the show as well. Have a great Monday, my friends. Have a great week. We'll be back here tomorrow, as always, for another episode. In between now and then, be legendary. Get out of here. We love you.